Hey guys, this is Mr. DeFelice. Today we're going to work on angles as we build our knowledge of different vocabulary, terminology, and geometry. Alright, so just some background. Angles are used in construction, architecture, graphic design, aerospace, art, machining, and factoring, as well as many other fields. As we do our reading, I'm going to switch to our vocab sheet as well, so that way we can keep track of some important words that we're going to read about. So the first word's popping up right away, and if you have a highlighter, this is a good time to highlight. An angle, which is what we're learning about today, is formed by two rays with a common endpoint. So on my vocab sheet, I'm going to write that down. An angle, I'm just going to write, is formed by two rays with a common endpoint. Remember, a ray is just has an endpoint and then it extends forever in one direction. So we need two rays coming together to form an angle. We'll get an image in a second as we keep reading. So a ray, what we just said, has one endpoint and extends forever in one direction. So here's an example. Ray NA is written with the symbol NA with that arrow at the end of it. Here's ray NA. Ray NG is written NG with the arrow, and then here's ray NG. The first point in the name of the ray is the endpoint, so we learned that already about rays. Let's get that image down for our vocab sheet. So I'm just going to use that same image. So there's my angle, ANG. The vertex of an angle is the common point of both rays. So in this picture, N is the vertex of this angle. Let's highlight that piece as well. That's an important part. And I'm going to write that down for my vocab for vertex. So the vertex of an angle is the common endpoint of both rays. I'm going to put in quotations like the corner. That helps me think about it when I'm looking and working with vertex. So in our picture above, I'm just going to draw a regular angle. This point right there is the vertex. That corner point is considered your vertex. Okay? Alright. So let's go back to our reading. So N is the vertex of this angle. It's where the two rays come together and form this angle. When 3 points are used to name an angle, the vertex is written in the middle of the name. The vertex can be written as the name of an angle when it is the vertex for only one angle. So this is an important point in how we name angles. We got to keep that in mind as we keep reading. 3 ways to name the angle formed by ray NA and ray NG are angle, and this symbol right here means angle, so I say angle when I see it. Angle ANG. Notice the vertex letters in the middle. Angle GNA, and then lastly angle N, because this is only one angle that we can name using the vertex. So let's look at some of the rules for naming angles. That's what you're going to practice today. So mathematics is the art of giving different names to the same thing. So a section on naming angles is very important because many students really never get this down. The reason is because there are too many options. So there's a lot of options, and so maybe put a little star here. The reason some people get confused is that there are so many options. These options are necessary because as diagrams become more complicated, naming angles becomes more confusing. Before we look at how to name angles, we need to talk about your vertices. So we talked about this already above, but it's good just to review again. A vertex, and the plural version, more than one of these, is called vertices, is simply where two segments or rays meet to form the angle. So we already learned that. That's our vertex. That's where two segments or rays are coming together at a common endpoint to form the angle. The first option for naming angles is by naming them with the point name. So simply draw the angle symbol and then state the name of the angle's vertex. So if you know the vertex and it's only one angle, you can name it by the vertex. This is angle A, angle B, and angle Z. Flipping the sheet over are the other two methods. Another way to name angles is using a three-point name. So we have to use a three-point name because the one-point name really falls apart when you have a diagram like this. If I said, how would you name this angle that the arrow is pointing to, and I'll kind of highlight it with my highlighter so you can kind of get a sense. How would you name that angle? You can't say angle E because E could be any of these four spots on this diagram. So how would you tell which one angle had a vertex E? There are actually like 12 angle E's here. We can learn about that as we go on this unit, but there's actually 12 angle E's in this position. Because the angle shares vertex E with several other angles, we must use the three-point name like this, angle BEC, or this, angle CEB. These are the same, just written backwards. E is always in the middle though because it's your vertex. We can use either one, but the vertex must be in the middle. Inscribe that on stone tablets and carry it around your neck so that you don't forget. You can't call it angle EBC or angle BCE or any of these names because the E is not in the middle. These are all bad. E is your vertex. It has to be in the middle. Another way to name angles is the simplest, is just using a number in the angle and calling the angle by that number. This is impractical though when you need to write a measurement there, so it gets confusing if you're trying to figure out the degree or the measurement of an angle. Be careful, the number will never have a degree symbol. That's how we tell the difference. A degree symbol, remember, like if I said 10 degrees, that's the degree symbol. That tells you how wide an angle is. It doesn't name the angle, it tells you its measurement. These numbers, since they don't have degrees on them, we can use to name it. So the examples here are we have angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4. So let's look at some examples. I'm going to do the first two with you, and then you can try the rest on your own. Let's say I give you this angle, and it says bubble in the choice that could not be a name for the angle. So I want one that does not work. So the first choice for this number 1 is angle B. Can I name this angle B? Well, remember, if you're going to use one letter, it has to be the vertex. Is this point the vertex? It is, so that one's okay. That's okay. Angle A, B, C. This works again because B is in the middle, and I'm naming it with 3 letters, and B is the vertex. That one's okay. Angle A, C, B. Now notice, look what I'm doing with my pen. I'm tracing over the letters to see if I'm covering the angle itself. If I say A, C, B, am I going over the side of the angle? No. So I'm guessing the answer, this is the incorrect answer. And we can check the last one, angle 1, that works. There's a 1 on the inside of this angle, so that's how I can name it. So the correct answer is C. On the bottom, you can bubble your answers as you're working. So number 1 was C. Number 2. What's the incorrect name for this angle? So angle 2, that's the number in the inside of the diagram. That's okay. I can name an angle with a number as long as it doesn't have a degree symbol. I'm going to trace as I talk this through for choice letter B. Y, U, O. Look at how I'm going around the diagram. Am I tracing over the sides of the angle or the rays, the segments of the angle? I'm not. So I'm guessing this is the wrong answer. But let's check the other ones. Again, Y, O, U, so letter C is okay. U, O, Y, that one's okay as well. So B is the incorrect answer. So I'll shade that in the bottom as well. Alright, so for your rest of the time right now, complete the rest of these questions on the sheet, and then check with Mr. D for the answer key. Good luck.